Hello and welcome to another edition of Video Games to the Max. I'm your host, Sean Garmer, here with me, as usual, Mr. Marc Morrison,
Howdy.
and your cat, Valo. You have him back.
Yeah,
Oh, no, he is mad at you.
no, he does that whenever I'm holding him. He doesn't like
Uh,
being held that much.
oh, okay.
Oh, stop.
That's cute. Uh, mine's the total opposite. He wants you to hold him all the time. He's
Mine really hates it, but
yeah.
I do it anyway.
Yeah, that's how my daughter's cat used to be. It's
Yeah.
like, do not hold me, and then eventually she got to the point where now she's cool with it.
I've had mine for 10 years. He's never cool with it.
Yeah,
He doesn't attack you or anything, but he just doesn't
yeah,
like it.
right. Yeah, it's not his thing.
Yeah.
So we are here to talk about the Xbox Developer Direct that just happened yesterday. And we're also going to talk about some news regarding the. It's funny. I thought I was just going to talk about Ubisoft Plus because that's how I decided to play Prince of Persia: Lost Crown. Apparently now it's going to be in the news because somebody had to open their mouth and say something that really wasn't controversial. It's just it got taken out of context about we all need to get used to not owning our games and how that is an issue. Or not an issue. But we'll get into that. I've been playing out or testing out Palworld that just hit Game Pass in the game preview. It is in early access, also on PC. So just be prepared for that. And I was surprised at what that game actually is. So that's a tease for you there. And whenever Marc is playing, we'll get into some other stuff. Hogwarts Legacy made some big news for the United States and more, all right after this.
You are listening to Video Games to the Max.
All right, so let me just quickly get through this housekeeping stuff, which I'm sorry, I know it's not the most interesting, but we got to do it. So really quick here, if you want to watch live, which you can do right now, usually around the 12:30, 1 o'clock time, you can do so. Go find us wherever we have social media. So W2 Network on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch. You can go on my Twitter, W2 and Sean, as well, and a few other places that you can watch live. And then if you want to watch on demand, it will be on YouTube on demand, the video version. And if you subscribe to the YouTube channel, you can go and not only get what we do here, Video Games to the Max, but if you love entertainment stuff, movies, TV, we have an amazing crew, Rally Broadcasting, that do like just fantastic reviews of pretty much any movie that comes out. Any of the big movies that come out, it is there for you to watch a review. They also did the review of the Echo series, the Marvel series that just came out. So you can go watch that. They did a Star Trek Lower Decks season 3. They did a review of The Beekeeper. So that's out there for you. And also the rebranded anime show now called the Otaku Cafe. They just did their first episode of the winter season. If you keep up with anime, you can go check them out. They do a thorough review of a lot of the seasonal anime that comes out each season. And they're at episode 100 right now. So go give them some love as well. Officially, I think we're at like 381 for the show, I think, if I'm keeping tabs. But yeah, so let's get on with this. And also, you can listen on podcasts. So it comes up a bit later sometimes on podcasts because I do try to actually edit the audio. But it'll show up on your podcast feed probably later today. It's not like instant like the YouTube, but it'll show up there. So let's get on with talking about this developer direct, Marc. It did not last very long, breezy, like 48 minutes. So I appreciated that. They didn't overstay the thing. But any general thoughts on the games that are shown, how they do the show as compared to some of the other, what Nintendo and Sony does? Like, What do you think?
Needs more finger snapping.
How to figure out a way to get that in there. Yeah. So what did you think about what they showed? And
It was fine. I didn't watch the Hellblade 2 thing because I didn't play the first one, so it doesn't mean much to me. So,
right.
but the other, what was the fifth game? Because I know they showed 5.
Vision. They had Square Enix come in for
Oh,
Visions of
yeah,
Mana.
Vision of Mana. Yeah, who
Yeah.
cares?
Not your thing, huh?
Well, I mean, isn't that game out? Or
No.
oh no,
It
that's
doesn't
the
come
new
out
one.
till later. That's the new
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, sorry, I thought that was like the remake or something, like
Oh,
story.
okay.
No, I didn't watch that, but sure, it's fine. Or yeah, I'm not a big Mana fan at all, honestly, so I never played them. Aura looked intense, like sluggish, I thought, and I thought it was funny that some of the development team just clearly wanted to say it's Civ 5, you fuckers. Like, just leave us, like the
Right.
one
Okay.
guy was like, we don't have monuments. We have some other stupid term for like the grand buildings or like
Oh, the statue things. You mean?
yeah. Well, no, it was like the pyramid. Like he's like, oh, you can build the pyramid
Right.
of
Like they
Giza.
have,
Yeah,
like you said, like they're basically like you can create big
yeah. I
historical.
think in like Civ they're called like special works or something like that, or great works. That might be it.
Yeah.
Or like the whole like if you pick I forget what they called it, but like if you pick whatever empire you pick, you have a leader and it has a special ability. It's like, where have I heard this one before?
Right.
But it's fine. I don't think it'll be on consoles or it won't be on the Xbox, but
No, it's not. It's looks
yeah.
like it's PC and PC Game Pass only.
I thought Avowed looked kind of. It's Avowed, right?
Yes, Avowed.
I thought that looked kind of bad.
What did you think looked bad about it?
It looked like that Horizon VR game, but this ain't a VR game.
Yes,
So,
I did see a lot of folks saying it feels like it's supposed like it should be in VR.
yeah. Like, because VR can't
know.
do like AAA graphics that well. I mean, because
Right.
what do you? I mean, it's the headset and the computer and the headset. So what do you expect? Like, so yeah, it looked funky, and it reminded me of that Immortals of Avium game. That came out and bombed
Oh,
last year.
the Immortals of Venom game. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, only like not as colorful, and it's like, wow, like I didn't think this could be more bland looking, but here we go.
Right.
And that indie game, I mean, you just want to talk about that, but I thought that looked kind of funky also with the first person whip stuff looked bad. Let's just say that. The gunplay and punching dude looks fine, but like he swung that whip and it looked like it didn't connect with that guy at all, but it somehow still did. It's like,
Yeah.
okay. And it's a
I
shame
mean,
Harrison Ford isn't back.
well, I mean, did you really expect that it was going to be?
Damn right. He can be 85 and still do that role. Just like what they did last year. And the fact that it's first person is kind of it's an interesting choice. I mean, that's what Machine Games does, but I mean, look at Wolfenstein or more Wolfenstein, I guess.
Right.
Uh,
Like that's the I think for the most part, for one, I want to make a point that I thought they nailed the presentation of this. I think that it's great the way that they did it. I love the fact that Xbox went from we used to do these was it the Xbox, I forgot what they called them, the thing with Major Nelson, and they used to have Morgan Webb and all that in
yeah,
there. And they were kind of like these almost like we're doing like a radio show but on video, and it didn't feel like it had any kind of personality, right? Whereas now we have these developer directs, and honestly, my takeaway from the thing was I wish they did at least one more throughout the year, not just maybe it's something that they will kind of look into as it goes on. But it is a great like trendsetter for the year of like, okay, this is what we're gonna put out, right? This is what we're going to go with.
I mean, it was nice
Yeah.
that it actually had like a roadmap, or
Yeah, exactly.
and that like hopefully we'll hit it.
Oh, I mean, I feel like most of them are going to hit it.
Like
I don't think we're gonna have
I
that problem.
assume Hellblade 2 will hit because they actually gave like a firm release date.
Right.
And
Uh,
that
yeah,
R
I mean,
game, yeah.
right. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that R game actually looked pretty far along as far as that looks like it'll come out this year.
Right.
But I don't know. Did they actually show any indie gameplay? Like,
Yeah, they showed looks like there's cinematics, but there's in-engine stuff.
okay,
Like
I
when
mean
they did the
there was
third person, yeah.
there was some gameplay, yeah, I guess, but like kind of
Like when they did the switch to third person and he's climbing up the pole, and
yeah.
then when they're doing the whip stuff, and then other things where he's it's a mix of stuff. It's a movie game, so I think for the most part they did this right in that
Except for the lack of Morgan Webb.
well, we don't need that, but it's fine. Like they made it about the developers, and I do appreciate that. Like it was really cool to see them like this is what they do, like this is the work that they're doing. Like we're actually seeing them do things with the game, whether it's the mocap on Hellblade 2 or the going have Todd Howard talk about how he's passionate about Indiana Jones, which is interesting. Like maybe he had to have been going between both Starfield and this at certain points, right? So I wonder how much, if at all, that affected Starfield. But the Aura History Untold, it's pretty obvious that they love that game, and that they talked about being former Civ developers, and you're going in and looking at the Visions of Mana thing. They talked a lot about that game. I was surprised they got so much time being a third party thing
Yeah.
as well. Like they talked about how they designed the monsters and the music and all that stuff too. And Avowed, to me, my thing with the first person with Avowed is it's jarring for me. I did see some of the VR kind of talk about it as well, because the combat kind of looks clunky. The combat looks like it's not really hitting the person that much. It doesn't feel like a weight to it.
Because like in VR
Yeah.
games, they really have to fudge that stuff because there's no you can't get like that accurate, and it looks like they were kind of just doing that with this game. Like it's in the general direction of the enemy, so good enough.
Yeah, it kind of felt like Skyrim a little bit too. And it's but that's really not what Obsidian is the best at. What they're known for is like their writing and all of that stuff. So, like I kind of understand it in a way of, hey, this is what look, this is a game. It's it's the first person kind of RPG thing, but I don't know that we need to like be expecting amazing graphic stuff with this. Like, so get ready for that, I guess, in a way. They did improve on as throughout, like they showed some of the combat. I think when they got to like the bigger enemies, it looked better, but I don't know. I'm still kind of I think it looks a lot better than the first time they showed it, right? But I think that I don't know. It's not one that I'm super excited about. I don't know how you felt about like Outer Worlds. It's obvious that there's kind of a connection to that as well.
I liked Outer Worlds, but Outer Worlds 2 had like a personality.
Right.
Like this just seemed really bland, and it's like, okay, I guess. Where's the Moonface man? Bring him back.
Yeah, and it definitely has that feel also of like, I don't know if this is necessarily like, it doesn't feel like that AAA kind of thing either.
Yeah.
Right. Whereas with Hellblade 2, that's the game I thought they were going to do a lot more with, and then it feels like what Microsoft decided to do was, oh, we're gonna just let them make a sequel to that game, and that's what that game is.
Yeah.
Right. which I think ton of respect for that also, right? Because they could have just came in and said, look, no, you've got to make this like God of War. You've got to make this, you know, a bigger thing. It's got to be like 20 hours. It's, you know, we're not going to let, it's not, we don't want another 8-hour thing that people are just going to finish really quickly and whatever. Like, respect to them for letting them make the game they wanted to make.
Yeah.
I don't know, you know, going through it, there's really not a lot of gameplay in that thing. So I was trying to see if I could find a spot where there's a bunch of gameplay I could run through on the video, but there's really not. It's a lot of them talking.
Yep.
But that's the only game that has a firm release date, which is, you know, May 21st, 2024. You can actually preload it right now on Game Pass. I did that last night. And I like the game. I don't know.
Getting the preload in 4 months early, huh?
Right. I love the first game. So if it's more of that, just on it feels like I guess the world is bigger for her, then I'm totally down with that. But yeah, I kind of want to see what's going to be different in this game. It looks like the combat is not so much. It feels like more like the combat is there to kind of, you're trying to get away from the enemy and not so much trying to fight the enemy. So I guess we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
Because the first one also had like a puzzle element to the combat at times too. So we'll see if they changed anything on that end. To me, I don't have a problem with the Indiana Jones thing. Indiana Jones being first person to me makes sense. This is what Machine Games does. I'd rather them focus on something that they know how to do as opposed to trying to make the game third person and then they have to go back into development hell because they don't do as well with third person. Also, let's make it different than Uncharted and Tomb Raider, right? Because let's be real, even though Indiana Jones is the originator and they come and those games are inspired by Indiana Jones, especially Uncharted, the first thing out of everybody's mouth is, oh, look, Xbox can't even do their own thing, right? They have to copy Uncharted. And I think in a way they wanted to get away from that. They wanted to make it feel like its own thing, like you are Harrison Ford, like you are Indiana Jones, and not like, oh, you're playing the character of Indiana Jones. So I can kind of get that in a way, you know.
They should have made it like that N64 game where they just copied Zelda instead.
But yeah, no, I think all the games they showed look good. I'm not a strategy 4X person, so Aura History Untold is not going to do anything for me. But the other 4 games, I'm totally down. I liked the Trials of Mana game. I liked the remake one was not very good, me personally. And you know, I love the games from back in the Super Nintendo days. So yeah, I'm totally down for Visions of Mana. I love the fact that I think this is Microsoft flexing a little bit. Like, oh, you thought that our only thing with Square Enix is that we're getting Final Fantasy 14 like so many years later? Oh no, it's not. We're doing some stuff with Square Enix here, and we're gonna show that by actually having this be in our first party direct thing, which I found that interesting. I feel like maybe there's more to come with this. Like, I don't know if they're going to announce other stuff eventually, but
don't worry, Square Enix is PlayStation is Flex Suite next month.
Right, yeah, exactly. You know, I don't know if they're gonna have something big to announce during that the big one that they do in the summer, which obviously that's the main showcase for them. I think that's also why they left some of the dates undone, is because when they show you more on those games in the summer, that's when they'll have more like realistic release dates. And I wonder how far along Indiana Jones actually is. I don't doubt that game could possibly get delayed. Also. So it's great that all of them have a 2024 date. That's really good.
I mean, at least with Indy, like they didn't just show like the stupid name and go like it'll be out eventually.
Yeah, Indiana Jones and the Perfect Circle. Interesting name there. They did show him actually making a point with the story and all that. Do you think it's gonna make any tie-ins to the movies at all? Being in between, I guess the second and third movie.
No,
No,
not at all. Although they should get John Rhys Davies back in there.
I do think Troy Baker does a pretty good Harrison Ford. It sounded like him at times, and you know, I'm fine with it. It's
yeah,
good.
you can get.
So look, this is a well done direct.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I would have got the guy who did it's another voice actor named AJ Lucasio, I think. I'd have got him instead because he was like the one doing Han Solo and like in Star Wars games for a little bit. I think he's like a better fit, but Troy Baker's probably a bigger name, or so.
Right, I think they nailed a lot of the cinematic stuff. They showed the stuff with the music, how they're trying to kind of make it feel.
That's all Jens cares about.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I thought about too when they show the music. I was like, oh, I bet Jens is loving this stuff if he does watch it. But yeah, this is it was a really good direct, great way to tell us what's coming out for the year. And now we'll see what they wind up showing in June for that. And yeah, there's Xbox has some games now. Will they come out? We'll see. Yeah, at least we know, hey, Hellblade's coming. The rest of it,
I mean, I would say three of those 5 games will hit this year. I would say the Mana game, Hellblade too, obviously, and then that RA game. Avowed.
You think Avowed's going to get delayed again?
Maybe. If it does come out this year, it'll be like way late. Let's just say that, or like November, December type of thing.
Yeah, the only game to me that I was concerned might get delayed, and I'm fine with it if it does, is Indiana Jones. I think if Avowed winds up being your fall game, I think that's fine.
Yeah.
Obviously, Indiana Jones would be huge for them if they could get it in the fall. Way to get people that are not huge gamers or whatever that, hey, that's a franchise that people know. Even though it's a franchise that, it's kind of for our parents' generation more than ours.
Right.
So, and obviously the newest movie did not do well. So maybe this will revitalize the Indiana Jones franchise a bit more than the movie. But yeah, I wonder if this is going to continue also on. If this game does well, they're going to have more Indiana Jones games. We'll see with Machine Games. I would like to see them do Wolfenstein 3 at some point, but I guess the future is left to happen there on that front. A little bit of bad news as far as Xbox is concerned. And this is, again, I don't think it's so bad. We got to understand that there's a war going on still between Ukraine and Russia, and Stalker 2, the dev team deciding to delay the game all the way to September 5th, I think it is. Maybe it looks bad in a way that, man, they've been working on this game for a while, but I think we still need to understand what all of that dev team is going through, and I'd rather them polish up the game and wait till it's ready before we just decide to push it out the door because it's been in dev too long or whatever. So,
hey, it's only been in development for 14 years. No biggie.
No, but I mean, in earnest, they've really only been talking about it for the past it seems like 4 years. So they may have been in development for a while, in the pre-planning and all that stuff. But I think that for what they have to go through and everything, if they do get to come out this year, definitely going to be maybe one of those gains for impact kind of things because of the story behind it. But I'd rather them wait and bring it out when it's ready. It is an Xbox exclusive, I think, for like 3 months or something. So that is another one in there for Xbox whenever it does come out, I guess. Let's go ahead and get into the games we've been playing here before we get into the rest of the kind of new stuff. Anything you've been?
A new WoW patch dropped, I think Tuesday, and it
Yeah.
had like a few bits in it. So played that a little. My subscription's ending like next week, so trying to wring out as much as I can from that fucking game. What else? Yeah, it's more of the same. I picked up another. I already had one, and I didn't know it. Ever heard of a retro gen?
No.
It is this like weird bootleggy ass cartridge. It's a Super Nintendo thing. You can play Genesis games on a Super Nintendo because it
Okay.
basically has like the Genesis chip inside of it, and you're just
Interesting.
using like the Super Nintendo for like power and controller input. So I saw it in the store online, and I had a friend grab it for me. She brought it over like last week, and then I was looking through my stuff, and I was like, wait a second, and I already had one in the box.
Wow.
Now I have two of these things.
Are you gonna sell the other one or?
I might. I mean, it's not that valuable. It's like $15 or $20 or whatever. So I may just keep it. But yeah, other than that, not nothing. I do want to play the Prince of Persia, but I don't have the money for it. So
Right. I played a little bit more of the Prince of Persia. At least got through to the part where you are in the demo. So it does have like an intro where there's more backstory and stuff.
Yeah, I figured that. Yeah.
And then the intro actually lets you. It does serve as more of a tutorial than the demo does. Like you actually go through the whole process of, okay, go through the town while you're fighting, and then there's a big boss battle at the end, which I hadn't gotten to a boss battle when I got through my part of the demo that I did. The boss battles are fun. That really does test you on your combat and knowing when to dodge, being able to parry, because some of the parries are unblockable. So you have to know when, okay, well, I got to dodge this one instead of parry. And then there's the parry that actually, the one that turns yellow where you can do the awesome combo thing if you do it right. But that the timing window is so small, it's not always easy to do. So the first time I think I died, and the second time he got me all the way down to barely, and I had him down to that same much, and I just took one swing, and I was like, oh, he killed him, great. And that was fun. So yeah, I'm up for more boss battles with this game. The problem is now, if I don't play it before next Friday, I don't know when I'm gonna play that game again. So I did try out a little bit of Palworld, which that game, like I said, just came out today, and it is in early access. So, just be prepared that you're playing an early access game, and it tells you straight up at the front that that's what this is. And I'm actually surprised because this game kind of makes it look like it is really just Pokemon, but you're controlling the character more, and you also have guns. It doesn't really explain itself that it's a survival game. So I was kind of in for a shock a little bit when I start the game, and it wants you to start crafting wood and stone and build stuff, and you're building your base and all of that. So that's interesting.
Right.
But hey, you know what? Sometimes you need that other aesthetic that you're used to get you to play a game that you don't normally play. Right. So I normally do not play survival craft games like that. But the fact that there is like a Pokemon aesthetic thing where you are capturing monsters and battling them, whatever, but there's no oh, hey, I'm trying to capture them to catch them all, or go beat a bunch of evil gym leaders, or there's none of that. That is not in here. It's the story that's here is like with logs and stuff like that.
Yo, what about Team Rocket though? Did they show up?
No, I mean there are like other people and like there are other like people figures in here, but they're really here just to like disrupt you. They're here to like mess with your base and destroy it and things like that. So and the pals, which they're all like, you know, really cute and whatever. The pals are really there as like a means to an end. They all have some kind of function to help you in the world. So like one of them might be the one that helps you build a certain thing or helps you get a certain uh artifact that you need or whatever. And also there's certain things that you can't build until you find that certain POW that you need. So
it sounds like
yeah.
the system from Fantasy Star Online, like the mag system.
Okay.
Kind of.
Maybe that's
but I mean they're game, you know, it's like, oh, you need, you know, a water type to build a bridge or, you know,
yeah,
whatever.
exactly. Something like that. But yeah, I mean, I've been actually enjoying it. Like I said, you know, I don't normally play these kind of games, so having this kind of thing that I'm used to being able to like kind of help me get through is actually really interesting. And yeah, I kind of it's cool that you kind of learn that this game's different than what you expect. But definitely the pals are worth going to get. Like getting to control your character's good. Just be ready, I guess, that if you're not a survival game person, this may not be the thing for you.
It reminds me of, I mean, I reviewed it, I think a year or two ago, but that V Rising game on Steam.
Okay, yeah, I remember you talking about that. Yeah.
Yeah, where, you know, it's like, oh, it looks like it looks like a vampire Diablo kind of.
Right, exactly.
But it's like, nope, you know, you're chopping down wood and building shit. So,
and don't you have to like at night is when you have to go and try to kill people to?
Yeah, because you can't go out in the sun because, you know,
right.
you just get wrecked. So
yeah, I'm not that far into it. Like I'd gotten a few pals and I'd started to build my house or whatever, and then I had to start getting ready for it because it came out at like 3 a.m. Eastern time because they actually did it based on Pacific, where the Pacific it came out at 12 a.m. Then it came out here at 3 a.m. I got up early to play the little bit that I could, and then I had to start. We're still moving things, and then I had to start getting ready for this. So, but yeah, I've been enjoying it. I'm probably going to play more this week before the big game that both of us are probably going to be playing and talking about next week. Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth comes out, and also Tekken 8.
Yeah.
Tekken 8 comes out that day too. So,
you mean we're not going to be both playing that also?
I actually like Tekken, but it's not something that if I get that game, it'll be when it goes on sale.
I actually dislike Tekken a lot. So.
Oh, okay. So it's one of the fighting games you don't like. All right.
My old college used to have a Tekken, I think it was a Tekken 2 arcade machine set on free play. And I just
that's
feel like
cool.
my time is more valuable than this.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, that's kind of all I've been playing. I still had to do a lot of moving and stuff, so I probably would have played more Prince of Persia and had more to talk about it. But yeah, I'm hoping this week we finally get done with all the moving and I can get to kind of being in regular mode and kind of do things. But yeah, speaking of, since we're on the I did mention Prince of Persia, that is on Ubisoft Plus that you can go and pay your $18 a month, which actually that makes it the most expensive of the streaming services because PS Plus and Game Pass Ultimate are both $16.99. That is $17.99 actually. So, to kind of go into the news thing involving this, a Ubisoft exec decided that, well, he's like promoting Ubisoft Plus, right? He's talking about how they feel like they have this, they rebranded it into Ubisoft Plus Premium, which makes it to where you can play it on PC and Xbox and Luna. You just have to connect your Xbox account to it, and then it will have the games show up in your library once you download them, very much like Game Pass does. And it actually does show up on the main screen too. So if you have Ubisoft Plus, it'll tell you, oh, there's games you can go download and stuff. So And if you want to play like recent stuff, not just Prince of Persia, there's that the Avatar game, which was actually pretty decent, and the Assassin's Creed Mirage, which you didn't like very much,
Right.
Marc, but there are other people that have been liking that. There's something else to be said about that's now 2 games that have come out on that $50 price tag. So I wonder if they're going to be doing that a little bit more often to try to get you to subscribe instead of getting you to buy the whole game. We'll see if that's kind of their MO. I do think that kind of goes along with the whole. We talked about this when we talked about the AAA. Well, I talked with Jeff, and then I think I talked with you as well. The whole AAA budgets are getting out of control, so we have companies making smaller AA games, and I think that's kind of going to be a part of a trend that we're seeing with Xbox and Ubisoft. Both, we're okay with making AA games, and you probably need to start being okay with that too, because we can't afford to keep just making grandiose, crazy AAA games all the time. So a way that they can also get revenue is with this Ubisoft Plus Premium thing, and interesting that it's not on PlayStation also. But Philip Tremblay, the director of subscriptions at Ubisoft, says that he claimed 10% of subscribers had never previously played any of the company's games before, which is interesting. And then also the Ubisoft SVP, Chris Early, is the one that kind of made this comment where he says, the point is not to force users to go down one route or the other. They have the option of purchasing or subscribing. But in order for subscriptions to continue to rapidly expand, gamers have to get used to not owning their games. And this got blown up because gaming sites kind of misconstrued this a little bit in order to get people to do for clicks. And this started a whole firestorm of people talking about, oh, so Ubisoft doesn't want us to own our games and all this stuff. It led into kind of a rabbit hole of a lot of talk about game subscriptions and where they're at. We had Matt Piscatella come out from Circana and talk about how subscriptions have been flattened and they're only like 10% of the market and the way people consume games. The Larian Studios CEO, Sven Vinke, who most people will probably know as the guy that was talking at the end of the Game Awards, and then they shuffled him off as well. He also had a big thing on X Twitter about how basically explaining their whole why we're not going to put our games on game subscription services, saying that there's nothing wrong with having the subscription service, but they're not in favor of that because they don't want a monopoly happening with subscription services where it's the only way that we can consume games, because we won't have games like Baldur's Gate 3 because you only have a certain amount of people that will control what gets put out on that subservice. And basically the way that they got to pitch Baldur's Gate 3 with a lot of idealism and a lot of, oh, well, you're going to be able to do this and this and this and this, and having all this freedom is going to make people want to play this game. You won't be able to really do it that way when you're trying to get people to play constantly on the subservice. I know how you feel about subservices, so I kind of think I know your answer, but like, what did you think about all this? Like, does Ubisoft have a point or
no? Well,
yeah.
it has a point for Ubisoft that like, oh, we want to grow a subscription service so that but it's like that point doesn't translate to the gaming public that much unless you're part of the service. Like if you don't use their service, then you're screwed. And
Right.
I think his point. Well, the fear is like, what if Ubisoft puts out a game that's only on the service that you can't buy? It's like, okay, well, I guess I'm not going to play that one then.
Right.
And the other fear is what happens if the service goes away. Like, remember Game Tap?
Mm.
They had a few like exclusive games on that thing that I don't think have ever been.
Stadia, right?
Yeah.
As well.
Stadia, I think most of the games have.
Well, Stadia, you had to buy the games, but still, it's a whole service that went away, right? And then they had to go refund people and all that. Will everybody do that, right? Because Google didn't have to refund anybody. They could have just said, okay, we're going to give you a PC key to all these games that you have, and that's it, right? Like, okay, well, you still have the game, but that's it. And they actually went further and just refunded everybody. And I do see your point. I think he also talks about this, right? He says, you don't have to worry about that because your save is not going to go anywhere. Whether you unsubscribe or subscribe, it's locked to your system, so it will be there. And if you want to come back later and play again, like months later, and resubscribe, you can do that. You'll know by the fact that the service is still around that you can have faith in the service. You can have faith that it will be there. And I kind of get his point, right? It's the same thing with Game Pass, right? Like PS Plus, you can download that game. You'll have it for the length of time that it's on that service. And then if it goes away, your save is still around. So if you want to buy the game later, you can do that. But I think that this kind of proves this whole theory of it's not going to be dominant. It never will be dominant. It's not the same thing as movies and TV and music, where those things are less investment for you as a time sink, right? Where, oh, yeah, I want to go watch this movie for 2 hours and that's it. Like, oh, I feel like watching this movie. I'm going to go find it on whatever service it's on. I'm going to watch it and then I'm going to not think about it again, right? I think games are a much different thing because it's a time sink. Like, you have to give time to.
It's
go ahead.
It's not just that; it's also a money sink. Like in this example, like let's say you want to watch, Down Periscope. It's okay. You can either stream it probably on Amazon Prime or Netflix or whatever, or you can rent it probably for $4 from iTunes or whatever. Or it could, that's only 24 hours though, but still. Or you could buy it on iTunes or Amazon or whatever for like probably $13 digitally.
Right.
But that's 2 hours. So, you can't like rent a game like that. Like, yeah, I just want to rent Prince of Persia for a week and I'll play, $5 and, beat it then and there.
Technically you have a month, but still.
I think one problem I have with this kind of also is, at least with some services, is like, if you're subscribing to Netflix, there is a very large library of crap, movies or TV shows or whatever.
Right.
Ubisoft, there's a library, sure, but only Ubisoft games. And if you're not into those, or like, let's say you don't like Far Cry or Assassin's Creed, it's like, okay, well, that's about 20% of this library.
Yeah, I think that's what EA figured out very early on.
Yeah.
Right? Is that I don't think we need to have our own. We have our own EA Play, but why don't we just tie it to Game Pass,
right?
And make the library bigger, right?
Yeah. And the other problem kind of is like it feels like these services are kind of just preying on people that, like, they're just hoping you forget you even have it.
No, definitely. Yeah, there's definitely that.
Yeah.
And that's certainly a way that they make money, is hoping you forget, right?
Yeah.
And then also having constant content drops that go, oh, but you know what? I might want to watch that, so I'm going to stay subscribed, right?
Yeah, but the problem is like, in Ubisoft can't maintain a constant, drop of content.
No, I agree. I think eventually Ubisoft is going to merge with somebody.
Yeah.
Like with the service, at least. I think that either that becomes part of Xbox Game Pass as well, or something where, because I know it's an alternative, right? They're still having people buy Prince of Persia. People are still going out and buying Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. People went and bought Assassin's Creed Mirage.
Yeah.
The thing for me, like I said, is that Ubisoft, I wonder if this will stop Ubisoft from putting the game on sale so quickly, is the fact that they you have another avenue to play the game. If you don't want to go out and pay $50, you can go and pay $18 for 1 month, play the game, and then if you want to wait, which is what I'm going to do, I'm going to wait until it does go on sale, and I'll buy it then, because I do enjoy the game and I do think that it's well made and it deserves, for people to go out and buy it. So eventually they get 2 bites of the apple, so it's not bad. I don't know if eventually they can't keep up with the content and they do end up merging it with Xbox or whatever, and it all kind of just becomes one huge giant library. But I think they also did this because they're going to have those Activision cloud games on there. So it's a way for you to, it may not be on Xbox Game Pass, but if you subscribe to this thing and you need the cloud for it, you can play them on here. And it's a way to get people to subscribe to Ubisoft Plus that way too. So I don't care that these things exist as long as it's never the only option.
Yeah.
Not like Spotify kind of is now for music, where, I mean, there are other music services, but there's so much music that, like, I mean, yeah, you can go and buy it on iTunes, or you can go and try to find the CD or the vinyl somewhere or whatever. But as long as it never gets to that point where it becomes the priority way of playing games, I'm fine with it. I'm cool with it being an option, right? I should always be able to own my game, which is what I have a problem with Nintendo. I know it's their retro stuff, but I hate the fact that I can't go and just buy Golden Sun 1 and 2 right now.
They sold you that crap twice already on the Wii and the Wii U. And it's like, okay,
I know, but that's the point, though. They should have just made a virtual console. That if they're making a big deal about the Nintendo ID, right? That it's the Nintendo ID goes with you to the next console. Why couldn't you have made one more virtual console where your purchases go with you, just like PlayStation and Xbox have done? I don't understand I get it. Nintendo wants you to subscribe to this thing, and they probably feel like you wouldn't subscribe if I could just buy the game that I wanted.
You can only play on their hot online multiplayer games if you subscribe, man.
Well, that's the thing too, right? Like, there's still the purpose of, I wouldn't be able to play. I mean, I don't know. You can buy those tracks from Mario Kart 8 that they came out with separately, but like, I wouldn't be able to play against people online with Mario Kart. But I think that that's also because they know that their online service most of the time is not great. So it's like a way to hide the fact that they don't put all of this, development into having this amazing online service. They get you to subscribe because of the games, and then, you also have online. And
but I mean, in Nintendo's case, I'd rather have them actually fix their online shit instead of going, hey, we put Golden Sun out.
Yeah,
which takes all of 2 minutes. They just drop the ROM in the Game Boy emulator and go, here you go.
Right. To me, it's like, it kind of sucks because of the fact that, like, their games hardly ever go on sale, right? So it's like, I want to be able to enjoy their old stuff while I may not play some of the newer stuff all the time. And I kind of get people. I get the people that say, which is why Game Pass and PS Plus and all that also are kind of on where they've stagnated, is because we have to remember that there's so many people that just buy one game or 2 games a year. Why bother having Game Pass and pay monthly for that thing when all I want to play is Call of Duty and Madden?
Yeah,
right? I'll just buy both of those games, and then it's not like Netflix where I'm going to turn on Netflix to watch a movie or a show, whatever, to kind of waste 2 hours. If I'm not using that service at all, why pay for it?
I mean, that would be me. Yeah.
And I kind of get you as well, right? But you're also you like having your physical games, and you buy the retro stuff all the time. So I'm one that has accepted the digital.
I mean, I accept
part of
that,
it, but
we don't get like physical review copies anymore.
We don't. I mean, but it's also because it cost them you'd have way less people reviewing games if you were giving out physical copies. yeah, this is an interesting kind of dichotomy of there's still a lot of people that say, oh, this is where the games are going. And maybe we will see this eventually happen as more games become digital and digital and digital. But the fact that gaming is like the one standout that continues to fight for physical things. And we're seeing a little bit with music as well, right? We're seeing a lot of this, my daughter's generation, like, and even our generation, right? Going back to vinyl. I recently bought her a vinyl record player, and she has vinyl records of her favorite artists. And I think people are starting to kind of go back into, oh, I want the physical thing. But I think we're still not seeing that much with movies and TV shows as much. But games is just that thing that like we need to have the physical thing. And there's still some. I still have physical games over there on this. You can't see it anymore, but the little physical stand that I have over there with my books, I have physical games that either GameStop wouldn't take anymore, or just I like to have them because like Gears of War and Halo and stuff like that, stuff that I grew up with. So I still think about it sometimes of like, oh, do I want to go get Final Fantasy VII Rebirth physical at some point? Yeah, I might, just to have the thing there and say, hey, there's that game, it works. I don't want to get into the whole whether you actually own it or not thing. That doesn't really have to do with this news. But yeah, I'm sure it will be something that comes up again and again as this continues or what happens. But I do think that the fact that Xbox and PlayStation have already come out with their own thing will prohibit. I don't think we're going to get the movie and TV show thing that we have right now. I don't think we're going to get 20 Ubisoft pluses. I think Ubisoft is doing it because they need a way to kind of stay around and have another kind of avenue to make money. I think we're going to see way more like EA Play kind of decide that they're going to be inside one of these that already exist. So yeah, I don't think we have to worry about that so much with gaming, where we're going to have 10 different subscription services, and it's the only way you're going to play all these games. And and like I should mention, like, that retro arcade one is awesome because you're playing old games that like most of them are like no longer able to be purchased or on consoles,
right.
that
Yeah,
you can't play them, or obviously you're not going to go play them at an arcade. Like, that stuff is amazing. Like, I love the fact that retro arcade exists. But I don't think we're going to see that proliferation of subscription services, so I don't think we need to worry so much about that. But moving on from this topic here, just what did you think of Hogwarts Legacy is officially the #1 selling game in the US. It beat out Call of Duty.
that's surprising because Call of Duty has been slow. I mean, slowly on a downturn. Like the past, like this one, didn't review great.
Right.
Modern Warfare 2 did, I think, but that Vanguard one bombed horribly. And I think a lot of people just saw this as kind of like not the next step up, or like not the next game. Is kind of, I mean, they even said basically it's like a glorified expansion pack. So,
yeah, definitely. I mean, the fact that they tied it into that like Call of Duty global thing.
Yeah.
And part of it you had to download Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 for, but then also part of it you had to download this other thing for, and it really did kind of feel like it was supposed to just be DLC for Modern Warfare 2.
Right. And the fact that like all your stuff from Modern Warfare 2 comes in, which I think they've never done before from like a previous game. So, yep.
That interesting that we did have some other ones, on here. So like the top 10 or so is some of the ones you'd expect, but then some interesting ones too. Hogwarts Legacy this is the United States, by the way, also. United States only. This is not the entire world.
Right.
Hogwarts Legacy, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, Madden 24. Then you get Marvel Spider-Man 2 at number 4, Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom without digital purchases. So I wonder if it would be even higher if you had digital purchases in there. Diablo 4, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, crazy that you also have Modern Warfare 2. But I think having that DLC with 3 and 2 kind of made people also buy 2 as well. Mortal Kombat 1, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, and then EA Sports FC, which I wonder how much the FIFA name change had something to play there, because I wonder if it would have been higher if it was still called FIFA 24.
Probably.
And then Starfield right there at number 11, which I wonder if it wasn't on Game Pass, it would have been higher. But also the fact that it is on Game Pass and it's still number 11, I think says a lot too.
I would say it's kind of
ahead.
interesting that Mortal Kombat's on that list, but not Street Fighter 6.
Yeah, well, I mean, but Mortal Kombat always outsells Street Fighter. Like Mortal Kombat is like that game that if you don't like fighting games or you don't understand fighting games, like Mortal Kombat's a lot easier to get than Street Fighter, at least for me. Like,
no, Street Fighter 6 really went a long way into fixing that problem.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think it's like the cachet that Mortal Kombat just has with like casuals. You know, so it's so well. It's crazy that it's in the top 10, but that's good. I mean, Street Fighter 6 is there. It's just number 17. Final Fantasy 16 is there. You know, Resident Evil 4 and Super Mario Bros. Wonder are right there under Starfield 2. So yeah, man. Even old ones like Mario Kart 8 and Minecraft still in here in the top 20. Yep. Says a lot, you know, there. So
Mario Kart will never die.
No, and I'm sure they're probably already working on Mario Kart 9 for the Switch 2 or whatever that's going to be. So yeah, if they somehow make that into like Mario Kart 9 Ultimate, where you have all of the tracks from Mario Kart 8 also, that's going to be insane. If they wind up doing that, I don't think they will, but it would be cool.
I think the problem with that is it runs into the problem that Smash Brothers is going to have. Like,
yes,
of just, you know, okay, expect the next game's coming out. I want it to have all the old shit from the last game. It's like, yo, the old game had 60 characters or 60 tracks. Like, that's not feasible for a launch game.
Happy Friday to you, K-Med. Glad we're getting into the weekend. Yeah, I don't know how they're gonna do this with Smash Brothers. Like, you gave everybody the ultimate Smash Brothers, essentially. Like, how are people gonna be okay with like going back to what, like 20 characters or whatever, and then potentially basically unlocking the same characters again and then paying for the same characters again?
Like, well, even if they can get some of those old characters back, or some of the guest characters rather, you know.
Right, the non-Nintendo ones. But I feel like, okay, Sonic, they don't have a problem whoring out Sonic and putting him on there. Like that, you know, even Mega Man or even like Square Enix doesn't have a problem with at least getting the Final Fantasy ones on there. I don't know, we're gonna get Sora again. Like that was a once in a lifetime like thing, but yeah, that's going to be interesting with Smash Bros. And like you said with Mario Kart, it's been around this entire time. So how do you get people to go from Mario Kart 8 that just got like 50 tracks added to it to, we're going to suddenly accept Mario Kart 9? Like, they really need to somehow innovate even more to get people to go down that route of getting those games. That'll be interesting. Is Sakurai even going to be involved with whatever the next Smash Brothers thing is? That's going to be another thing that we'll have to see what happens with that for sure. But looking into a sad thing for me, I've still been buying Rock Band 4 DLC here and there when they have songs that interest me. You know, they haven't really been putting out the most amazing music ever since they kind of went independent, and even when Epic has bought them, they haven't really been doing that. They've kind of just been putting out DLC, which still, to think about, from 2014 when that game came out to now, still putting out DLC every week is freaking amazing. And to go back to the start of Rock Band, they were really the first ones that made you be okay with, oh, we have content coming out. Like they were one of the first service games, really. You know, if you think about it. Especially Rock Band 4, which like came out almost completely just bare bones, right? And then they've added stuff onto it. Finally added online play a few years ago and all that stuff. Like finally made it the complete game that it actually is. But ever since you had Fortnite Festival, I could see the writing on the wall immediately. Like Epic owns them.
I mean,
Epic eventually is gonna push people to go there. And not
since Epic bought Harmonix, you could see the writing on the wall then.
Well, yeah, but like, okay, they were developing stuff for Harmonix or whatever, but like the moment that you have Fortnite Festival and you're trying to get people to enjoy the same songs,
yeah,
and they're on a constant changeover on that thing, having Rock Band kind of be around is sort of like a conflict of interest, I guess.
Right.
So I don't know. It's going to be sad because I feel like we're eventually going to get to the point where they're going to say, oh, you can enjoy Rock Band 4 the way it is, but we're not going to do any more stuff for it. And I'm really sad I feel like it's just inevitable that sooner rather than later, they're going to get to that point as well.
Yep.
Because they're going to start I feel like they're eventually going to start putting stuff in the Fortnite Festival that's not just songs. They're going to start putting modes and other things in it. And that will eventually be like, oh, this is, if you want to Rock Band 5,
play
it's over here in Fortnite. Right? It's not, we're not going to get a Rock Band 5 by itself. And that makes me sad as a Rock Band lover, as somebody that Rock Band showed me so much types of music that I will always enjoy because of downloading that song and going, oh, wow, it's this band. I never knew that they did this song. And then going down the rabbit hole of enjoying other things by that band, you know, like it's just, it like introducing my daughter to it, playing with my friends, like going to parties and Rock Band is there. And then like the fact that they announced, we're going to try to make the Rock Band instruments work with this, with Fortnite Festival, that also kind of spells the doom for it. But props to Harmonix and that whole team for being able to do DLC all these years. It stops officially January 25th is going to be the last week. So yeah, it's coming. It kind of Rock Band 4 always felt like one of those things like, okay, they're just going to put out DLC. It'll just keep kind of rolling along. And then, yeah, once they did the Fortnite Festival, it was like, okay, this is kind of it. This is getting to there. But, you know, pour one out for the Harmonix and then Rock Band 4. I was always holding out hope that maybe Epic buying them meant that they would do a Rock Band 5, and instead, of course, they just shoved everything into Fortnite because they have to keep Fortnite going. That's their cash cow. It's the whole reason they can. I don't think they can go back to just being we make Unreal Engine, right? Like,
no, but you know, the scary part for them is like what happens if and when Fortnite fails. Then it's like, okay, now we're fucked.
Yeah, like that is kind of scary, right? Of like, will it ever become to a point where people just get tired of Fortnite and it doesn't matter what you do with it? It's like, oh, we've moved on, right? We're doing something else. And it will be interesting to see what happens if this generation, like my daughter's generation behind us, if they do get to that point where it's like, I'm just done with Fortnite, right?
I mean, people probably thought the same thing of like Second Life. Remember that? 20 years ago.
Well,
and it's like, okay, yeah, look how well that's doing nowadays.
Right, yeah. I mean, but people probably thought about that about WoW, right? And that thing's still going. So
yeah, kind of.
I mean, but it's still going. Like they're still making content for that thing. It's getting new stories.
Yeah, but I would say the difference between like WoW and EverQuest. I mean, EverQuest 1 is still going on.
Right.
It's like they don't have to like license like shit for it. Or it's
right.
Not like,
exactly.
Oh, we put the Terminator in this, or we put Goku in this, or and having to sign deals and probably pay some amount of money for that stuff.
Right.
You know, it's like, okay, what happens when you done run out of pop culture stuff to put in this game?
Yeah. Will they ever be able to run out of pop culture? But it feels like they can constantly just add people, and people are happy about
Yeah.
people being added to their. Speaking of something that's like Fortnite, like Splatoon, Foamstars, which I'm not going to do that anymore because Square Enix really doesn't want you to keep calling it a Splatoon ripoff or
Knockoff.
whatever.
Yeah.
They don't want. They actually came out and said we would really love if you guys would stop doing that and actually
Not-
like come up with your own like genre name for Foamstars, because it's not like Splatoon actually. People that have played it said it's actually a lot different than Splatoon.
Call it like fluid shooter.
But that being said, it is going to be on PS Plus next month. So I don't know if you still subscribe to PS Plus or not, but
Yeah.
okay. So both of us could technically play it together, I guess. Jens could play it, Randy could play it. That'd be cool if we could all, the four of us could just try to play this together and check it out. For a whole month. So you'll have from whenever it is that they put the game on in February till March 5th. And then it will actually cost money to buy Foamstars. So it will cost $30. So everybody that's not subscribed to PS Plus and maybe wants to check out Foamstars might want to go subscribe, pick up Foamstars, check it out, see if you like it. Of course, you have to stay subscribed in order for it to continue being available to you. But yeah, I mean, I think this has always been a good way to go for Sony. We've seen it work with Rocket League, right? We know where Rocket League is now. Obviously didn't work for Destruction All Stars. That game just wasn't that good, to be fair.
Right.
But it is serving a purpose, right? It is going and trying to get people to play the game. They wanted to get a lot of people playing this game, and of course, drum up hype for it and everything else, and get people to check it out. Do you think it's going to do well? Do you think this will drum up interest, or
Maybe. I mean, I've seen some previews and it was okay. It depends on, how much content they have planned for it, or, that's always the problem with these live service games is they just kind of run out of content at a certain point. And how long will that ramp be, or will it feel fair to players?
Yeah, they did talk about that also.
I mean,
they did say that there's going to be themed seasonal updates over the span of a year at least.
yeah, how long will it take them for the numbers to dip down and for them to break the hammer on the insert Final Fantasy characters into this thing glass, cabinet.
Yeah, they said that the characters are going to be free that they add, but that there's going to be a $6 battle pass, premium season pass, whatever the heck you want to call it, to unlock other characters immediately and cosmetics. So there is going to be sort of a roadmap for it, at least.
Let's look at that awesome Apex Legends Final Fantasy 7 crossover.
No,
$300 to unlock all the shit.
Please, no. You made fun of me like that, and you're like, "Oh, you're gonna play Apex now, right?" I'm like, "Nope, this is not gonna do anything for me. I have nothing to do with getting some skins for that." But they basically are gonna try this dual season pass structure and see if it works for them. I do wonder, like, if some companies, are okay with putting these things out, and if they don't last forever, it's also not the end of the world. Like, if they just have it come out, get revenue, get some extra money as an extra way of funding, and then just say, okay, after a couple of years or even a year, just say, hey, we're going to keep the servers up, but we're not putting out any more stuff for it.
Yeah.
Do you think we could see that kind of be an evolution of a service game of just, maybe we don't tell you right away that it's only going to last a year, but we're going to see if we can get this popular and it lasts a couple of years and then that's it?
No, because I mean, they can't do that. I mean, they could, but like if they actually came out and said something like that, but like, okay, you just eliminated any and all interest in your game, except for
Right, no, that's what I'm saying. They don't tell you that it's going to last.
Right. But
only a year or whatever.
Think about like Avengers. Like they didn't. I don't think anyone saw that thing, at least initially, shutting down. But hey, it did.
But I think that's also where you first saw how, oh, okay, there is a chink in the armor in
Right.
some of these service games. Like even a big IP like Marvel can go down if it's not good, right? So that kind of was the first one that was like, we already had that a little bit with Destiny, but Destiny, we know that game is, that's what that game is. They just have to keep putting out content and try to get people to not think about the things they don't like about it. Whereas Avengers is like, we wanted this to be the next huge service game, and because it wasn't that good on the multiplayer side, it didn't become that, right?
Yeah.
And unfortunately for them, that sucks. I did like some of the Kamala Khan story and all that, but again, as you know, we know what happened with that game. We don't need to indulge going down that rabbit hole again. But yeah, let's see. Let's hope Foamstars is good, and it will get folks playing, and they'll like it. And who knows? Maybe it'll be up for
unlock. Pay $20 to unlock the foam gunblade.
Yeah, not to mention they used some like AI art in that game too, which didn't
that always
raise the ire of funny people. And that's not cool. Square Enix, come on, we don't need to be using AI art. Let's pay.
If it's good,
wonderful artists. We don't need
if it's good enough for Magic the Gathering, it's good enough for fucking Foamstars.
Well, here comes the sad part of the show where we have to talk about more layoffs again. Embracer, of course, always leads the way with this terrible situation. They have laid off several people from Lost Boys, which is a support studio that worked on Borderlands 3 and Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. I think the staff is apparently got up to like 400 people in 2022. And according to Aftermath, they hit the studio with layoffs. They didn't like say the amount of people or give a percentage or anything, but they said a sizable portion of people, according to one of the folks that got laid off, that this happened.
I can see that. I mean, if it's a support studio also, like, yeah.
Right, but it's like it just further goes down the hole of Embracer just absolutely ruined this, right? Like they stocked up on so many freaking studios seemingly endlessly, and then just now we're just seeing the gutting of it, and it's so sad. All these people losing jobs and everything else, and it just really sucks to see. It's like it's different where okay, this always kind of happens in the industry. Like okay, the game gets made and people get laid off, and because they had to ramp down whatever. Yeah. But it's like when Embracer did, it's just like on another level. It's just despicable, and it sucks.
Don't worry. Once they put out that Destroy All Humans 3 remaster, everything's going to turn right around.
Yeah, exactly. I don't even. What is the next like? They have some sort of big. Don't they have some sort of big game that's coming out?
That new Mudrunner game.
Is that?
That actually is that. But I don't know. It's so hard to keep track of their nonsense anymore. So
yeah. Also, another one, the Thunderful Group, which they own like around 30 different subsidiaries, like 7 dev studios, 3 publishers. They've had to restructure and lost about 20% of their employees, so that sucks as well. Thunderful has made some really cool indie games, or at least published them. One that I loved a lot, Spearfair. So it sucks that more devs lose jobs, and we're just seeing this everywhere. Like I feel like this is going to be again another running theme of 2024. We're gonna every week. I'm doing this also as a way to like kind of keep track a little bit of just how much we're having to talk about this. The other studio was Dead by Daylight. Their Behavior Interactive lost some folks as well. They don't really give a kind of an idea of how many people, but the fact that already there's actually a game developer, Farhan Noor, that's keeping track of this, like videogamelayoffs.com, videogameslayoffs.com. And apparently 10,500 people were laid off last year, and already around 3,000 people have been laid off this year.
Hey man, gotta beat that record somehow. Getting it done early.
Yeah. No, but I mean, it sucks for all those devs, everybody losing jobs. I really do hate the fact that we've pretty much talked about this like every week this year already, and it will probably continue to be that. And I wish we didn't have to, but freaking game studios and publishers just making bad decisions, and here we are.
Yeah.
But hey, let's look on the bright side, at least for the upcoming games for what's coming this week. We already talked about Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth coming out on the 26th. Also Tekken 8 coming out the same day on the 26th. That's also crazy that we have. I know there's two different games, but
right.
You do still get a lot of beating people up in Like a Dragon Yakuza, so interesting that they chose that as well. But some other stuff that's also coming. Of course, you can go and get that $10 upgrade of Last of Us Part 2 Remastered right now if you want, or you can buy the game, I guess.
Yeah, I heard that the roguelike thing is actually pretty decent.
Yeah, I heard that too. A lot of people complaining that this should have also been free, but but apparently there's not like a ton of content.
Right.
That God of War Ragnarok Valhalla was like more content than that, but you do get the full game, and there's a lot of people that still haven't played that full. Like I haven't played the whole full game. I think I got to like part of the way through or whatever, and then I just started playing with other games or whatever. But yeah, I'll get that $10 upgrade. Why not? It's $10.
Yeah.
To have the best version of this game. Another Code Recollection also came out today. The two visual novel like collection game that's on Switch. It's Switch's like first big release of the year. So go check that out. It's going to be very interesting when we get that direct in February. What is Nintendo going to announce? Are they going to tease the Switch 2 at all? Because like right now they just have the 3 Mario remakes and then Princess Peach, and that's kind of it at the moment. So we'll see what's going on with that. We talked about Palworld already, and also there's the Grand Blue Fantasy Relink coming like a little bit later in January.
It got delayed to like mid-February, I think now.
Oh, it did now?
Well,
okay.
My Amazon one did at least. I don't know if it's
Amazon. That's Amazon doing their thing.
Yeah.
That they love to do, which is so weird. Like they're supposed to be about trying to get your game out there on time. I don't know why they're kind of just okay with having your game come late. Roots of Yggdrasil is supposed to be a really good indie game on PC that comes on the 24th. Check that out. The Apollo Justice Ace Attorney trilogy finally comes to our current. Well, they're the last gen consoles mostly, but still can be played on the current consoles. So you can play the Apollo Justice game and the 2 latter Ace Attorney games that you can. I'm a big fan of the Ace Attorney games, so I will eventually probably get this at some point. And Go Mecha Ball is going to be on Game Pass and also out on PC. So go check that out. So we're starting to get into 2024 proper here with the big releases finally. And then the week after that, Persona 3 Reload. I'm excited. I know you're excited, right? Are you getting that or?
Yeah, I'm getting the collector's edition. So.
Okay. All right. Well, you finally want to talk about what I think it's been like for a month now.
Right.
Doctor Who Christmas
Yeah.
special and all that.
Yeah, what'd you think of the 3 episodes and then the 4th?
Um, it was really awesome seeing David Tennant back, and
Yeah.
Catherine Tate as well. Obviously love those two. And it felt like, he'd never gone away. It's like he's there the whole time, just kind of waiting. I like the story and all of those. The whole Catherine Tate's character can't know who he
Remember.
is, or she's going to
Yeah.
die, and then they pass it on to. I know it's rather blatant messaging or whatever, but the passing it on to her daughter, and
Yeah.
so
That in that first episode, that's the only thing I didn't really like is, like, I get the message, like, the message is fine, but it's so obvious or
right,
so
yeah.
blatant. It's like, "Oh my god." Like, did he learn nothing from Chibnall? Like, don't do this. Like, try to
Well,
obscure it just a tad. And it's funny because, like, I didn't know the daughter was a trans actress. Like, I kinda figured that out, like, halfway through when they
right,
kept, like, saying it, basically.
yeah.
But I was talking to Jens, like, right after the episode, he watched it, and I was like, "What'd you think of the, trans actress?" And he was like, "She was trans?" Like, he didn't even know.
Yeah,
It's like, how could you I mean, okay.
right. But I mean, it doesn't. It's cool that they put that in there. Like again, you can. I get the folks that are upset that it's blatant or whatever, but it
Yeah.
makes sense.
But the
For
second
what?
episode is pretty good.
Yeah.
Uh, and the 3rd episode is decent. Neil Patrick Harris was cool.
Oh, he was awesome as a toy maker. Like
Yeah.
that whole Spice of Your Life thing, and the fact that like he never heard the song apparently, and then he kept having to hear it or whatever to be able to do the part. And
I can buy that
yeah,
because, yeah, he was
yeah,
American, so what the hell does he know?
yeah.
I thought it's funny,
I mean, but they were so big here, right? Like it's
he was doing his
it
own thing, like,
yeah.
uh,
But it's the
I I
what do you
I
think of the
re
new Doctor?
okay, the one thing I also didn't like the quote unquote "bi generation." It's like, ugh.
I'm okay with it, like to keep him around and
I mean,
uh
well, I didn't like the name. It's like, okay, no,
right.
but it felt weird because I mean they just introduce it and it's like, okay, you've established that like the Doctor is apparently the cause of regeneration or like the start of it. Oh, over thousands of lifetimes because of that whole stupid timeless child nonsense. It's like, why
Right.
would this be the first one?
Uh, I
Uh,
mean that's I think it's the
and
whole thing of making the new Doctor feel like he's free, right? He's free of all the baggage and he's free of all the stuff that happened to all the other doctors, right? So
yeah,
he's kind of his own thing now, and then
but
that's when they go into the new episode where he's like dancing in the club or whatever. Like that's why kind of
uh,
feel like
I really doubt they'll bring back Tennant though. Like it felt like kind of like the write off of him, But all right, you're
maybe it was also sort of a like a if this doesn't work,
yeah, I mean maybe, but
yeah,
like yeah, the new guy, I think his name is Shooty
Shooty
or
Gatwa, yeah,
yeah, it's fine. The episode he was in, like the main one, it was good. I like the companion a lot. Uh, Ruby,
Millie,
yeah. Well, that's
yeah,
Millie Gibson, I
yeah,
think the
Millie
actress's
Gibson,
name.
uh-huh.
Decent. I thought it was interesting that like it was the first time I think in Doctor Who where like it was like not a shitty family.
Yeah, no,
At
and
least like
I love the family dynamic too of them,
yeah,
like
it was like new Doctor Who. Like it wasn't like the mom, like Rose's mom, she got better, but Rose's mom, Donna's mom, and especially Martha's mom were
right,
all like bitter, like just constantly complaining about shit. So yeah, it was nice to
yeah.
see this foster mom like not be like that.
Well, but then
Except for like
one of them is like sick, right? She has cancer or something, or
well, that was a
the
grandmom.
okay, the grandma, yeah.
Yeah. But I thought it was
Um,
interesting though when Millie got I forget the actress's name. I think it's Ruby. That's it.
Ruby, yeah.
When she got arrested in the timeline, then the mom like became like a bitter like she just fuck it. But then
Yeah.
it was a nice way to show that like Ruby had a positive influence on someone.
Right.
Uh,
I think
although
that I can't ever heard. I know she's important to like the older doctors, the older lady that kind of like throughout the episode is
yeah, it's theorized
that
that she could be like there's some female doctor who's like evil. I forget her name.
yeah.
Ramona, I think. Or yeah.
But I thought that was interesting, like the way she changes throughout the episode too. The goblin stuff was funny.
Oh, the Ranny,
Uh,
that was it. Yeah.
the
I thought the goblin stuff, like, I know what they were trying to do, but that goblin song was terrible. Like, oh my,
I thought it
I
was fine for what it was.
I
Like,
just had flashes back to like Star Wars, the Jabba the Hutt when
yeah,
it's like,
okay.
oh no, God.
I thought they did better with like the CG on this too. Like it looked a lot
Yeah,
better than what it has been lately.
yeah, I actually thought that with the second episode when they were in that starship. Like,
Yeah.
wow, this looks really impressive. Like,
Well, and then also when like they're hanging in the air on the ladder and they're using those gloves or whatever, like it
yeah,
looks like they really could be in the air. It doesn't look like, oh, this is a total green screen thing, you
yeah. It's
know. So
hey, it looks like that Disney put in a budget, huh?
yeah, Disney is helping in that way. I didn't really have a problem with anything necessarily. Like it's not like there were some folks were saying like, oh, you already feel the Disney influence. They added this and added that or whatever. And it's like I didn't have a issue with
I
really
mean,
any of the
you can see the
episodes.
Disney influence with the console room. It's like, wow, this is a big ass room. Like,
Yeah, it really does feel like way bigger on the inside now. Like before, it was
yeah,
like, okay, this is bigger, but like now
it's
it's like,
a
yeah,
little sterile in there, or a little
yeah.
like antiseptic, but like this is a big room.
I feel like he'll be adding his own like personality and stuff to it as we actually get
Well,
to like the
eh,
episodes. You know?
they added the jukebox, so
Yeah, there's that. But yeah,
yeah,
so far I've liked it.
yeah, I'm excited. I mean, I'll watch more of them when they come out. I think they said April or whenever the
Yeah,
hell.
April, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be good to see them go off on like more adventures. You
Yes,
can clearly see that Ruby's kind of like the Rose Tyler,
yeah.
in that mold. But hey,
But
that
I
mold.
really love Shooty. I think like he adds like a different dynamic. Has a lot of personality.
I mean, he's a lot younger. He reminds me kind of
Yeah,
like almost of like the Matt Smith Doctor, but not
yeah.
weird.
Yeah, I mean, he has a little bit of his quirks, like the doctor, like the kind of like usual Doctor Quirky kind of thing.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, like I love that first interaction he has with the guy that he's there with the wedding ring or whatever, and he's like, "Oh, she's
yeah,
gonna
the
say
cop.
yes,"
Yeah,
and he's like, "Oh, she's gonna say yes? What?" Like, I thought that was really cool. Like that was well done, and I don't know about this. What do you think about the new sonic screwdriver?
that was bad.
Yeah, it
Uh,
looks like a TV remote.
yeah, and also the way that I mean, they did it in the Tennant one also, but like it could have force field. It's like what?
Yeah.
What is this dumb
I mean, I'm
shit?
cool with adding new things that the screwdriver can do or whatever, but like, I don't know. It should always look like a screwdriver to me. Like,
Or yeah, like
yeah,
had like that wand look to it.
yeah,
I mean, that was the
exactly.
problem of one of the issues that people didn't like in Capaldi's era with the Sonic sunglasses.
Yeah,
And
like that's
he said it was like a choice of his because he was like, oh, kids can, maybe kids can't afford a screwdriver or the replica toy. So here's like the cheaper alternative. It's like, I mean, kids can make believe anything they hold as a sonic screwdriver. Like,
right.
like who cares?
I mean, I guess yes, you can buy somebody a cheap ass pair of sunglasses and they can wear
Yeah.
those or whatever, but
I mean, you could hold
you
a
know,
spatula and say it's a sonic screwdriver for all, for all little
yeah,
kids,
that's very true as well.
But yeah, I didn't like that. They should have kept, Tenants one or make a new one or something. But
Mhm.
it's fun.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm excited for when the new episodes come, and we'll probably talk about them weekly on here too.
Yeah, it's funny they introduced a sonic, Tenant screwdriver, and they had it for 3 episodes, and that was it.
Well, hey, he's got to have his own
Yeah.
thing as well there. So, but all right, that's going to be it for the episode today. Of course, like I said, next week we'll have some probably earliest thoughts on Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth, and whatever else is going on in gaming in that week. So look forward to it. Thank you for watching, listening, whatever it is that you did. If you watched live, we'd really appreciate that as well. Thank you so much. And of course, go subscribe. W2 Network, you get anytime we do a show, it is there. And of course, you get our other stuff that we do, and you can go find us on podcast too. Just search Video Games to the Max. And anytime we do a show, it will be there. So until next week, everybody. See you later.
Later.